Listen. All right. Man, today started out with such promise because I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, we have two choices that our current HOH, Vinny slash Lauren, are thinking about putting on the block. Now, honestly, based on everything that I've heard Vinny say to, what's her name? Lauren, he's presenting it to her as if, oh, these are the pros and cons. These are the pros and cons of picking Ashley, and these are the pros and cons of picking Adrian. But really, he wants her to pick Ashley to go up as the replacement. But he's doing the same thing everyone else is doing, which is to try to make it like, hey, it's your choice. Do what's best for your game. Hi, Chiricity. Do what's best for your game. That's what everyone's saying to her, including him. But the reason why she's listening to him more than she's listening to the others is because Vinny has been having these conversations with her from early. And she's a young, impressionable player. And I'm saying young and impressionable because being young doesn't automatically make you impressionable. We've gotten an Ian, we've gotten a Hannah, we've gotten certain players that were the same age as her or close or around her age and were a lot better at managing everything, managing their emotions, all that stuff. One moment, I'm making making an order. Yes. Can I get I'll get a chicken marsala slice. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So they're all the way that I view it is that they're all doing the same thing, except he was working this from the beginning. So he's building up the trust. I want to work with you. She has already told him many times, you're the only one I trust. And this was before she became HOH. He was having these conversations with her. So Rachel today finally decides, okay, I'm going to go into the HOH room and I'm going to talk to her. Now, Rachel's ultimate mission here in this conversation with Lauren is basically, I want to get her to decide to put up Adrian rather than Ashley. So her approach to this was like, hey girl, I just want to check in on you, see how you're doing, how you're feeling, etc. And then Lauren started breaking down. She's crying. She said, this is so hard. I wish that someone could make this decision for me. Hi, Ma. And then Rachel starts turning on the charm, I guess. And she's like, girl, you're smart, you're beautiful, and you're intelligent. You got so much going for you. The world is your oyster, girl. You can do anything that you want in life. You don't need anyone to make decisions for you. Give me a hug. You're going to be moving to New York by yourself, and that's so brave of you, blah, blah, blah. Then she's like, I don't know how to say this, but you shouldn't be taking advice from somebody who's 30 plus and unemployed. I'm not trying to shade anybody. No shade to anyone, but you don't need to be taking advice from somebody who's 30 plus and unemployed. And it's like, oh, that's not shade at all, Rachel. That was funny as hell. Uh, so she basically was not only trying to get her not to put up Ashley, but she was also trying to convince her that she should be the one that Lauren is talking to rather than Vinny being the person that she's talking to. She's like, basically, I want to mentor you. I've been there before. She said, think of me like a big sister. And I didn't know what the end result of this conversation was going to be. But just based on, my little bitty, itty bitty bit of knowledge about psychology, I kind of figured that Rachel might have been going too heavy on this, and it might have been a little too late for her to have started this type of conversation. But I wasn't sure because I don't know. I don't know Lauren like that. But I was like, I bet you right after this conversation with Rachel ends, Lauren goes to Vinny, tells him everything. Oh, can I get it to go? To go, yeah. One moment. No, that's okay. Thank you. Did Lauren know? I know, right? Lauren is not built for this game at all, and I hate to see it, man. Because I'm sitting here. These couple of conversations that I watched her have today were painful for me to watch. Not just because they were painfully hard to watch, but also because I'm like, if she's like this on Sunday, oh, now we have to suffer through the emotions that she's going to go through when she actually has to follow through with presumably putting Ashley on the block tomorrow, and then Ashley being upset, and then probably having post conversations with her after that, and then the tension she's going to feel Tuesday and Wednesday when Rachel and everybody is pressing her. Not everybody is built for the Big Brother game, but I hate this. I hate this because I'm like, it's so hard to watch her navigate this so poorly. Like, no disrespect to Lauren. It's not that I don't like Lauren. I mean, she seems like she's a okay person. But she's crumbling. She's crumbling very, very early. She's crumbling very early. And I hope that mentally she even lasts long enough to really have somebody put her out. Because imagine us watching her laying around crying for weeks. Like, tough, man. Okay, so the next thing I was gonna say, I know, right? The person who says that they are a super fan, the person who says they're a super fan doesn't want to play the game. Hey, Chocolate, what's up? How's your Sunday going? Mindful Tea Nation. That's a new one. Take that off. Kelly with Ashley, Kelly, and Will on the block. All right. Hey, Edward. Hi, Jacob. I heard an early live and we haven't even seen the episode yet. Yeah, I'm going to be going live again after the episode. But here's the thing with me and lives now. I like to do the lives now. I freshly just watched 2 conversations. So I just wanted to get those 2 things off my plate. Because my life has just gotten to a point at this stage where if I don't recap right away, then I'm probably not going to recap at all. So I'm killing multiple birds with one stone because I need to get my steps in. I'm trying to get my steps to 10,000. I need food and I need to finish my live. Yeah. So I'm doing all three of those things at once. Steps, food, and live. All right. So this is what I wanted to get into. This Ashley conversation with Lauren. This Ashley conversation with Lauren. The picture that you see, I keep tripping. The picture that you see as the display picture is from that conversation. And God, I wasted a good hour watching that. I don't know why I kept watching it. I thought something was going to change. I thought I might get an ounce of information from it. I thought there might be a tiny bit of purpose to watching it. No, absolutely not. So Lauren, Ashley comes in there and is essentially like, "Hey, Lauren, I want to know who you're thinking about putting up as the replacement nom. Like, are you considering me?" Lauren is like, "Well, um, uh, well, like, uh, um." This was the conversation in a nutshell. So, she was like, then she was just like, "Do you think that putting me up or me going home would be the best for your game? Because I would never come for you. I would never come for you. So, do you think that's the best for your game?" Uh, um, but don't let me tell you, play your own game. But just to let you know, I wouldn't come for you. So, with that knowledge in mind, would you say that it's best for me to go home over anyone else? Lauren is like, "Well, um, and then Ashley's like, "So, who are you working with right now? I know you're working with Vinny. Who else other than Vinny do you feel like you're working with and has your back in this house?" Well, uh, well, you know, um, okay, so who do you think are your enemies in this house? Who do you think are the people that would want to see you out of the game? Like, well, uh, Ashley spoke to herself for an hour. She got no information about anything. She got no reassurance. She did not even get a, "Hey, you're going on the block." She got nothing. She got absolutely nothing. All right. Yeah, she's highly most likely to put up Ashley as the renom. That's where we're at right now. If it's Will versus Kelly, Kelly goes. I don't know what happens if it's Kelly versus Ashley. Kelly versus Ashley would be a split vote. So Kelly versus Ashley would be a split vote if that's what it ends up being. Because now we're starting to have lines drawn in the house. I know the people that are against Ashley is like, okay, so Lauren can't vote. So I know that Vince would definitely vote Ashley out. I know that Riley would vote her out. That's two. Uh, Catherine, Catherine's definitely a third vote for Ashley to go. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else is on that side? I don't know what Zach would do because Zach's so flippy floppy on both sides. I don't know what Zach would do. But you know what? I'm thinking that side that has Vince on it and Keanu, I forgot about him. He might vote Ashley out. I feel like that side, I'll have to sit down and actually kind of do the numbers, right? But I tend to feel like that side is a little bit smaller than the other side. So I think that Kelly might go home in that scenario. But it really depends on those floaters. Because there's a few people who are promising things to every side. So it's really hard to say if it was those two. That would probably be the most interesting scenario, though, to be honest with you. But it's also the least likely because that would mean Will takes home the blockbuster. Not saying he can't, but he has not performed well thus far. I need Ashley to stay though. Oh God, I'm having trouble right now. When I say I'm having trouble, I mean I'm having trouble like the enjoyment factor of me watching. Having trouble with that. It's tough. Yeah, I don't that alliance. Like it's not an alliance that formed based on anything. That's my thing. Like the other alliance that has like Mickey and Morgan and Rachel and Ashley or whatever, they kind of formed something relatively early. And this other alliance is just like, I don't like those other people. So let's become an alliance based on that. Ah, don't like it. No one can tell me what Ashley did. Well, she took a 30-minute shower that was allegedly 2 hours that Julie confirmed was 30 minutes. And from there, it was all downhill. But I'm not going to lie to you. Ashley's not my favorite player at this point either. Even though I was rooting for her so heavy, I feel like she would be really great, cool outside the house. I'd love to meet her, but she hasn't given me what I was hoping for in the game. Although that still doesn't mean that there's some kind of big reason for her to be the one that they put up. Like y'all are so heavy on Rachel. Why don't you put Rachel up? Rachel this and Rachel that, but none of you are willing to put her up. Vince is the only one that wants to keep Kelly. That's not true. You are behind, my friend. Kelly doesn't have the majority, but she definitely has more than Vince. Definitely has more than Vince. He is. He's definitely with Kelly. I'm okay with Kelly or Ashley, but I
It's
prefer
gonna melt
Kelly.
before you get to the front
I
of the
know.
line.
I was thinking that exact thing. I actually was.
If only it worked the opposite, my beer would be cold by the time I got there. It don't work that way now.
Maybe put them together.
Yeah.
The beer and the ice cream.
Put that ice cream on top of my beer.
Yeah. Where Kelly going? Amy, 100%. Mr. Kelly is a weirdo. That's funny. I was going when they trying to do this stuff. Vince on Showergate. He's not. I'm just saying. Yes. All right. It might not melt after all.
Checkout 4 is now opening. Please place your items on the belt. What's going on?
Just this. Yeah.
3:15.
Yeah.
They caught me.
You saved us though. Me and him.
They called me.
I thought they got your back. Never see Godfather? I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
My dad calls his one mom. But ask what it is.
Have a good one. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I say I don't like people. I think that I low key kind of do, as long as I'm not obligated to continuously speak to them.
Steer properly. I would have like far away. I kept looking for one thing.
Like somebody makes a little comment to me in a line and we have a little laugh about it, and then I can go home and not have to speak to them for any real length of time. Cool, I love those conversations because I was walking with my ice cream and we had like people that were doing these huge grocery shops in front of us, like 6, 7, 8 people that had baskets full of groceries. And then He was like, your ice cream is gonna melt by the time you get to the front of the line. I was like, yeah, because I looked at the line and I said to myself, this ice cream is probably gonna melt by the time I get to the front of this line. And then he was like, I wish it went the opposite way and my beer would get cold the longer I have to wait in here. And I said, well, maybe if we combine the ice cream and the beer, that'll solve both our problems. I know, random story, but that's what you get when I'm out. That's what you get when I'm out and doing things while doing the lives. But I like doing that because I know a lot of people who do this, who you get them in their house, in their vlogging setup every time you see them. Kudos to those people, but I outside quite a bit. Key. $1, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I outside quite a bit, so you're never gonna catch me in one spot. Except for I've started to get a little groove after the episodes are done. I do sit down in my house to do my episode recaps because those are at night and I'm not gonna be, I have to sit down to watch the TV. Oh, this ice cream is already starting to melt, bruh. Zach looks so annoyed with Kelly. I don't know where Zach is. Zach is all over the place. So I don't know where his loyalty lies from a vote standpoint at all. I'm a peaceful person or not a people person. Yeah, I like people in limited amounts. The longer that I have to be around people is the less that I like them. That's just the honest truth. Now, I'll tell you something. Some people who have been around me, like a Cara Maria, for an example, her impression of me is major people person. Because in the environments that I have seen her, that's how I am. Not just with her, but just generally, because I don't get, it's not like I'm spending the whole night with her. So I'm talking to there's other fans there. So I'm spending the majority of the time with other fans and I'm speaking to them, I'm interacting and networking, engaging and stuff. But that's because I consider those things as work environments. And at work, I have to be that way. So I'm like, I mentally prepare myself that when I go to such an event, I'm going to be speaking to strangers and I'm going to be having to laugh with people and stuff. And I'm mentally prepared for that beforehand. But in general, if you just said, oh, there's going to be a party there, I'm not going for a specific person and it's just a party, I would be sitting myself in the corner, not talking to anyone. I'm cool until you do or say something ignorant. My field of work, oh boy, did I have to learn how to have an incredibly thick skin. Now, if somebody said certain things like what they say to me at work on a personal level, yeah, I have no tolerance, but boy, have I had to learn how to listen to some crazy things at work. Not with staff or whatever, because I deal with that in my own way, but with clients, because they get a lot of rope. I somehow at the zoo talk to me. Yeah, I mean, every time you see me on this live, I don't even be talking to anybody, and then somebody just comes up to me because approach me. That last time, this lady asked me how she gets to where the Chinese restaurant is, or this guy making this joke about the ice cream and the beer. That's true. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for it. Today I didn't speak to really anybody for the day, so I had enough of a social battery for that not to be annoying to me. Because if this was a work day and I spent all day at work and then I got off work, then he was making that joke, I might have laughed anyways, but I wouldn't have engaged with him really that much. I'm turning the camera off in a minute because I need both of my hands to get upstairs. So I'm still here though. Even when I feel like I'm trying to disengage. Well, if you're anything like me, you're disengaged. You know what's funny? Before the pandemic, when I used to be out with friends or whatever, especially when I was out with friends that were more introverted than me, I would have people, sometimes I know them or don't know them, they would be trying to talk to me, and I would be trying to end the conversation, but the conversation kept going. And then when we were away from that person, my friend would be like, Mark, did you really have to stand there and go through this whole conversation with this stranger? And I'm like, well, I wasn't really saying that much. They were doing most of the talking. That's usually how it goes for me. If what they're saying is interesting, then I might add more to the conversation. But if not, I'm just like, Lauren. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, yeah. And they just keep talking. Maybe minimal words makes them feel like I'm really engaged in what they're saying. Sometimes I'm not. So hot outside. I'm gonna be on here a little longer, but I'm gonna be back at if the episode is 8 to 9, I'll be back here at 9:15. My friends are like, everybody. I'm like, I don't know them. Yeah, I always get it with strangers. Like, approach me and tell me about all your problems. And I never ask. I never say, hi, how are you? I mean, at work I do that, but on the street, no. I don't talk to them in the street. I do the one word when I'm trying. And then there's some people that just don't know how to let it go. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they're not interested in what I'm saying, I can tell, and I don't even want to continue. All right, that's fine. I'm only really going to be interested in engaging with somebody if they are very interested in what I'm saying to them. But I can tell. Let me see how many steps I got, by the way. Dang, man. Oh, you probably can't see that. Anyways, it's 8,944. So I still needed 1,000 steps. But to my defense, I had melting ice cream. So, all right. Will you be back for the episode, Ed? Word. I keep wanting to call you Ed. You're like, well, it's funny. I was about to say you're the only Edward I know that wants to be called Edward. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, I only know 2 Edwards and they're both on my channel. So 50% of the Edwards want to be called Edward. This is my pizza slice, by the way. Let's see. Before I eat it. This used to be the Food Network. My channel used to be the Food Network. When I was on my music and mental health channel, I was always eating. People would be like, what are you eating? Chocolate was around those days. I remember chocolate being around, being like, show us your food. But she was in the minority by saying that because so many people were like, I hate seeing this guy smacking on his food. And I'm like, then why are you on my channel? I would get home from work and then I'd be hungry, pull out my food and do a live because I wanted to get on the live, but I also wanted to eat my food. People talking about, why are you eating? Why do we have to watch you eat on live? You don't have to watch me do anything. If eating on a live is offensive to you, don't get on that person's live. You know what? The other day, I was thinking about how people can get completely different versions of me. Because I have been in settings where my social battery is way too drained to have conversations with strangers, especially. So I'm either very short or I don't speak at all. Other days, I have a little bit of a social battery and they might get a nice talkative version of me. It highly varies. Because like Friday, I was on Leave Me Alone when I got off work. Today, I don't feel like that. Asking them questions back really makes them talk to one. Where I don't think I'm being rude. Boundaries. But honestly, I think it's more of a good thing than a bad thing. I had a client on my case load. 1 second. Yeah, that's not a superpower that I want at all. I mean, I probably do that quite often, but that's not something I like. because that empty battery manifests itself. And if you go beyond your empty battery, you start the next day with less than a full battery, even with the charge that you get at night. And then if that's naturally in your personality, then the next day you start with that 75% battery, you go down to zero, below zero again. Then the next day you're at a 50% battery, etc. So I really had to learn balance over the years. I'm still not over all the way there, but I'm so much better with boundaries than I used to be. I wouldn't even say that I give advice. Like occasionally somebody will come and do that, but it's not, mostly when strangers talk to me, it's not for advice. They just say random things to me, just like what that guy said to me. Some random interaction about his beer. I do. I don't know how to turn them off, but I know how to turn them down. I definitely know that. I think that whatever we got internally and inherently is whatever we got. There's no changing that, but we can just learn ways to manage better. If you want, that's all. Everybody's formula is different. Some people think I'm super patient, and some people think I'm super impatient. I think I'm super impatient. But the reason why some people think that I'm patient is because I've learned to be calm. I've learned how to work on being calmer when I feel impatient and less impulsive. Because in my head, I'm very impulsive. I put too much oregano on the pizza by accident. I used to be very impulsive and reckless. When I say that, people probably like people. Whenever I say that, they're like, "I doubt that." I guess because they think of impulsive and reckless as, I don't know, screaming at people or being real aggressive or whatever. It doesn't even have to be that. That's one way to be impulsive and reckless. My way of being impulsive and reckless was making fast, hard, and bad decisions based on how I feel in the moment. Like if I'm having a situation with a friend and we disagree on something and they're on some, I don't think I'm wrong, and I'm like, I think you're wrong, you don't think I'm wrong. You get what I'm trying to say. We both think that we're right. We both think that we're justified in what we did. That used to be a cut that friend off scenario for me back in the day. So like I've had disagreements with people now. What I do, it depends on the person too. This is a person that I'm very cool with or something, means something to me, then I'm probably just gonna cool off and think about it, sleep on it. It's possible after I sleep on it, I could still think that I'm right and that they're wrong. But I will think about it very carefully so that when I do approach them to revisit that conversation, I know for sure that I'm not thinking emotionally. So I would say almost 100% of the time using that method, I've at the very least come to a common ground. And I've been able to talk to said person. They revisit their side when they're calm, and I revisit my side when I'm calm, and we're able to work it out somehow. But the quick reaction method does not even give you that opportunity. You know what? My patience has gotten a little thinner than it used to be. But on the other hand, my patience is not tested so much anymore because I set pretty good boundaries now. Does that mean that nobody presses my boundaries? No. There's still some people that press my boundaries. Obviously, there's just habitual line crossers. That's just life. But much less people do that than they used to. I don't know. I think that this is my best comparison. And the reason why I'm even making this comparison is because my high school friend, who is a parent, gave me this when I was talking to him about my job. He was like, I was telling him about all the responsibilities, not of this job, but the last one that I was doing, where I had to deal with 40 clients. And I had to visit each of them twice a month, which is 80 visits and 80 phone calls. 160 times I had to engage with these 40 clients per month. And each one of them, not each one of them, but I would say at least half of them had unique things about them that really irritated me. And when I first started the job, I would bend and fold to all those things. I would bend and cave and fold to all of those 40 people and the 20 that have all these things that would get under my skin. And what would happen is I wouldn't have the time to do my job. Sorry about that. I'm wrapping this up because I'm getting off here pretty soon. I wouldn't have the time to do my job. So I had to start getting shorter with them. I had to start telling them, no, I can't do that. I can't stay for that. This is not part of my job description. When they would be arguing with me, I would be like, unfortunately, I cannot stay. I have somewhere else to be in the next 30 minutes. In our next phone session, write down, what you got to say, and then we will discuss it then. Because this is not within the bounds of my job description. So when I was telling my friend who is a dad of two kids, he was telling me, you basically have, I'm not even gonna say it how he said it because I know that people take things funny ways, but I'll just say he said that you basically have 40 kids right now. And he was like, I have a hard time with my two kids. And he said, when I first got the kids, it was like, oh, they're cute. I'm happy they're around. But then after some time, he's like, I realized that they're smart, they're manipulative. They know how to get things out of people. They know how to get things out of me, their mom. And then I started to realize, yeah, they're cute. Yeah, they're lovable, but you have to set the hard boundaries. And he was like, it sounds like you had to learn that doing what you're doing. And I thought about it and I was like, ain't that the truth? So all these things that I've had to practice at work, they trickle over into my day to day. And it has, I think I would say it has improved my outside of work life in a good way. Now I'm not perfect with it because that's not natural to me, but I'm better is what I'm saying. And that's it. I like that half of this ended up being about Big Brother, half of it ended up being about life. That is true to form of any of my lives. Because honestly, I said this on my other page. Sometimes I enjoy talking about my life more than I enjoy Big Brother. Because Big Brother is something that's going to run for anywhere from like 70 to 100 days. And the rest of the year is going to be my life going on. So I like Big Brother when it's on. It's entertaining. It's a distraction. But I like my life more than I like the Big Brother and the Big Brother house. I'm very understanding of where the people are. Yeah. I mean, I think that my space is different than that because it's not necessarily about being understanding. It's about, to say this as politely as possible. So I speak to people that are off their rocker sometimes throughout my workday, several of them. So the things that they could say to me could be like the most below the belt things that you could ever hear in life. And then you have to hear, well, this person is mentally unstable or unmedicated or symptomatic. So in theory, yes, you know that going in. However, you have whatever you have going on in your own life outside of the job. So there's some days, just like I said, going out, my social battery sometimes is pretty good and I can laugh with someone, I can have a good conversation with them, or I can even tolerate a stranger doing or saying something disrespectful because I'm like, I'm feeling all right today, so I can let that one go. There's other days where I might come into work with heavy burdens of my own that are unrelated to anything happening in the building, which means that I'm already on a shorter fuse than I am on the average day. And then someone could come in there, say something about me, my family, whatever it is that they say, because I've had some wild things said to me in this field over the years. And I won't have the patience or the understanding. Maybe the understanding somewhere in the background, but the patience, no. But like I said, I think I've gotten very good at respectfully across the board being able to communicate that I won't tolerate that. I don't give them a low blow back. I don't try to match what they're telling me, but I do tell them, like, you can't talk to me like that. That's it. Hey Milkman, you came here at the end. I'm at 55 minutes, so I'm gonna go for an hour. Which means that you have 4 minutes to get out anything that you want to say. Let's see here. I have not dropped a. Okay, so this is how I felt about the Ashley and Lauren conversation. That was my mood for the Ashley and Lauren conversation. That was part of my mood. The other part of my mood, annoyed. Another part was bored. So I was bored, annoyed, and getting a migraine. I was a little bit interested in the Rachel and Lauren conversation, but I don't know. I didn't say this. I'm going to get this one out quick. I felt that Lauren did a pretty good approach to that conversation. And I think that Vinny did a really great job after Rachel's conversation with Lauren to basically tell Lauren, don't believe anything that Rachel is saying. I got your back. That Rachel's manipulative. Rachel's not to be trusted. And he has her ear. So I don't think Vinny's great at the game per se, but I think that Vinny is locked with Lauren. Lauren's not going to listen to anybody else. She is going up, most likely. Unless something changes between today and tomorrow, that's what Lauren said she's going to do. Blame Vince. I want Keanu to win HOH so badly because I want something different and I'm tired of the same old BS every week. I want a Morgan win. That's what I want. I want Morgan to win. Or Ava. That would be an interesting one. I'd even want Zach to win just to see who he would put up. I would want to see who Zach would put on the block if he won. Because he seems to be committed to not letting anyone know what's up with him. Oh, also another thing that happened earlier was Morgan talking about her love triangle with Zach. That is also annoying. Can someone explain how do all these schools evicted Amy because they want to weaken Rachel? That's what I'm saying. Why is Rachel not in the discussion when Rachel's name is popping off in all their mouths, but they're not putting her up? And now what are they doing? They're putting up Ashley to continue to weaken Rachel? I don't know. Oh yeah. Morgan as an HOH would be hella interesting. Hella interesting. She would probably try to use her HOH to get some from Zach. Like, if you don't sleep in my bed tonight, I'm putting your ass on the block. All right, y'all. Appreciate you for jumping on here. And I'll be back here after the episode tonight, recapping. And as always, you know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some great content, because
you are now tuned in to Mindful Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective.
What's up, family? It's Mimi from Big Brother Season 25, and you are now tuned in to Mindful Reality with Mark. I need for y'all to stop what you're doing and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, because the math ain't mathin', okay?